So what does quality interpretation look like? Well, first of all, you've started the tour, you've introduced the tour, built rapport with your guests, and everybody's anticipating the day and the things that are to come. And then your next job will be to provide good quality interpretation. And through the Interpretive Guides Association, we know that that has 4 elements, right? It needs to be relevant, thematic, organized, and enjoyable. And what's meant by being relevant is people need to identify with the interpretation. So perhaps if you're talking about wildlife, you'll compare to the family structure for humans, to draw that connection. And then for it to be thematic, for example, you need some kind of theme statement that the whole thing hinges on, some scaffolding that you're either your whole tour or even just one small interpretive vignette hangs on. Like here at Lake Minnewanka, if I was talking about Lake Minnewanka, my theme might be that the mountains serve as a water tower for Canada's agricultural industry, right? It's in the mountains where all the precipitation happens and then it flows out onto the Canadian prairies. It needs to be third, enjoyable, and for that, or actually third, organized, and for organized, just in 3 steps. So if you're developing some good interp, have it just laid out in 3 items, something like that, short and concise. And then enjoyable, that's where you bring in the props, that's where you bring in the slides, that's where you get, ask people questions, invite them to comment as well so that they're engaged. And then if that's all done well, you should have good interpretation. At the end of the day, we know it's done well if, first of all, we've fulfilled the agenda, so we've made the tour happen. Everybody got to go where they wanted to go. There was some novelty along the way, some things that weren't expected. That might be props, that might be seeing a train, that might be something along those lines. And then there's an emotional connection, and you do that through the interp, get people thinking about the landscape, developing a sense of place or place attachment so that their hearts and minds are opened up to the landscape of Banff National Park. And then finally, it's really good interpretation, a really good tour, if people relive the experience on their own. So when they're out for dinner that night with their family or whatever, they might talk about the tour that they were on that day and how much they enjoyed it and what they learned and the sights that they saw and just how much they liked their guides.